Oh, hello there. I wonder if I could speak to the Director of Care Services, please.
I'm afraid she's downstairs in her care home at the moment, kindly on audit. Can I take a message?
Yes, if you could ask her to give me a call back. My name is Mr. Michael Angel, and I did call and leave a message. I wanted to speak to her about your care home because I have an elderly relative who would like to come into a very nice care home who lives in Scotland.
Is it our Lydiafield care home or Westfield or Burnfoot?
It's Burntwood.
Burnfoot.
So is it Burntfoot? Yes, that's right. Sorry.
Burnfoot care home.
Yes, right. Yes.
You've got a relative that wants to put that.
That's
Can I
it.
take a contact number, please?
Of course, it's 01280 850 140.
850
140. Yeah.
It's Michael Angel.
Michael Angel, and it's about my elderly father, and I'll need to be able to just get him upstairs to be able to, because he'll want to talk to you as well. So if
No problem at all. Yeah.
so maybe you'd be able to give me a call back and say, you know, give a definite time when she could call me.
I'm not sure. Do it if she's kind of an audit at the moment.
Oh no, I understand that, but when she's free, if we get a time for the call, because I can make sure he's up here then, you see.
It could possibly be. What I can do is I can go and ask her when she's going to be available. That's probably easier.
That would be lovely.
Would that help?
Yes, as long as I have a time, because it's up 3 flights of steps to where I'll be making the call from, you see.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thanks very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello, Michael. It's Julie again.
Hello, Julie. How are you?
Hello. Is this a good time?
Yes, I'm here. Unfortunately, my father is asleep, so if we have the initial conversation, will that be okay?
Of course.
Good.
Of course.
So, he's had his eye on Burntfoot for a while. He's about 80, and it looks a lovely place near Lockerbie.
Yes, it is. Does he live in Lockerbie?
He doesn't actually live in Lockerbie, just a bit of a way. Is that a problem?
Oh, not at
Oh,
all.
good,
No,
good.
no. I just wondered how he knew about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, these things come about because, you know, you hear from a friend who knows somebody who's there. Do you know what I mean?
All right.
So that's how he's heard about you.
Okay. And where does he live?
He lives a little bit further towards Edinburgh.
All right.
Yeah, so not so far away.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me about Burntfoot.
Well, it's a lovely home.
Yep.
It provides care for people who require residential.
Right.
We have a residential unit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big old Victorian house, that's how I could describe it.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of it actually. Yeah, it looks very nice.
Yeah.
In big grounds, is it?
The grounds are stunning.
They are.
So yeah, there's lots of open space.
Right.
We have a number of animals that live
You do.
in the fields.
Right.
We have,
What sort of animals do you have?
cows, chickens,
Right.
donkeys,
Okay.
llamas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's currently what we have.
Right. Okay.
So the grounds are beautiful. We have a residential
Yeah.
unit that provides a service for 23 people.
Right. Okay.
That's currently all getting upgraded.
Mhm.
So we are just going through the process of consulting with residents in terms of choices of colour,
Okay. Yeah.
etc. So half the home has already been done.
Yeah.
And people are delighted with that.
Good.
Half is to be done. And we're in the process of getting that done.
Okay.
We have a daycare that operates also in that side of the
Yeah.
building.
Okay.
And people come there from their own home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's managed by ourselves but with a different
Right.
team.
Okay.
So we have a different route for that, for the
Right.
purpose of that.
How many residents do you have, normally speaking?
Well, there's 23 rooms. There's 23
23
rooms
residents,
in
okay.
the residential
Mhm.
side.
Yeah.
We have the other side of the home. We have a dementia unit
Right.
that's split into 3.
Okay.
What needs do you have? What kind
Well, I mean, he's 80 years old, so he's got a bit of arthritis and a few things like this. But otherwise, he's not too bad. He doesn't need any sort of regular treatment or anything like that. His wife died a few years ago, so he's obviously living alone apart from help from me, and obviously it's difficult for him.
And which friends are already in Bedford Hall they know?
It wasn't somebody he knows, it was somebody knew of somebody, and I don't know who they were, so that's how he heard about it. That makes sense.
Of course it does.
Good, okay.
And I was just kind of trying to establish which level of care you
Yeah, I mean, he won't need a lot of attention, you know. I mean, he needs people to just keep an eye on him, you know. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Of course it does.
Good, because I lost my wife, she's 16 years ago, so I know what this is like, you know, when you're on your own.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine, no problem.
So it sounds very much like your dad would be more suitable in the residential side.
Yes, he would, definitely, yeah.
You know, because the other side is the dementia, and that's
Okay.
the same building, but it's separately
Okay.
run.
Right, okay.
The Bedford Hall is a lovely building, and you know, we get some very, very good feedback from
Sure.
the relatives and
Okay.
from the residents themselves.
Right, okay. What was the history of the place?
Well, I think many, many years ago, I think it was a boarding school for
Was it?
boys.
Right, okay.
That was that's the knowledge that I
Yeah.
given.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 20 years ago, it was taken over.
Yeah.
The school closed, and it
Yeah.
was taken over by a couple who then transformed it into a home for older people.
Okay, but how long ago was that?
Well, I think they had the service about 20 years, 25 years
Did
ago.
they?
It could be even more than that.
Right. Did it change hands at some point? You know, who owns it now?
The married couple who run a business, they had all the three homes that we have down here.
Oh, right, okay.
We have three homes, Michael, locally. We have one in Lockerbie,
Right.
one in Annan, and one in Esselfeckan, and they're all kind of like 5 to 6 miles apart from each other.
Okay,
And
right.
the married couple was called Mr. and Mrs. Sweeney.
Right.
So Mead Medica had bought the business because they was retiring.
How long ago did Mead Medica buy it?
Yeah, so Mead Medica owned all the property.
How many years ago did they buy it?
About 15 years ago.
Okay. And they're, what a big group are they, or something like that?
Not really,
No.
they are a small group. We've only got 6 homes.
Okay, and they're all in Scotland, yeah?
Yes,
Good, okay. There is one thing I need to ask you, because, you know, yesterday, you know, my father was sent an email about a petition, and that has upset him. I mean, what you're saying seems to be in complete conflict with that, but are you aware of this petition?
Yes, I am aware of it.
You are?
That's in relation to a dog
Right,
in the home.
yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
That's what, I mean, he had a friend sent him an email, in fact it was the same friend who recommended it, so he's a bit concerned about it as well, as you may imagine. Obviously, you know, these things, well, these things are, you know, are often, you know, not as they seem, you know, but... No, but, I mean, what appears to be happening is that there's been a change of policy, is that right, in relation? I mean, my father doesn't have a pet, but, you know, you want to make sure you come into somewhere that is a happy home, you know what I mean?
No, you know, there is always two sides to every story, and sadly, you know, social media can absolutely, you know, say things that's not the truth. And, you know, there's been many a false statement that's been reported.
What, I mean, obviously, you know,
The situation.
yes, what, obviously concerned to know what the truth in fact is.
Of course. And this is the truth. I'm not going to hide anything because I've got no intention and no reason to.
No.
But there was a gentleman that his wife moved into the home.
Right.
About 4 years ago.
Right.
And he wanted to stay with her, to be by her side.
Right.
And 2 years later, his wife passed away.
Right.
And we offered him a room.
Yeah.
Company offered him a room to stay
Right.
while he was with his wife.
Right.
He wasn't a resident
Right.
because he was well.
Okay.
And so we offered him a room as a tenancy.
Right.
And he agreed and has never received care since. So he's a tenant, not a resident.
Right, okay, that's fine, yeah.
And his wife passed away about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they brought a dog in with them.
Right.
And
So the dog was there when his wife was there, yeah?
yes,
Right.
that's correct.
Right.
Obviously, 4 years later, the gentleman's become 4 years older, the dog's become 4 years older.
Right.
And what we've experienced, Michael, is the dog vomiting.
Right.
On the dining room floor. It's been licking off dining room plates. It's been fouling in the house.
Has it?
And fouling out of the house with
Right.
maintenance men. Ground a bad dog. Mess kind of sprayed in
Right.
the face because.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, yeah.
And the difficulty is the dog wanders.
Right.
Because it's not that the gentleman hasn't doesn't walk the dog, so we find
Because he's pretty ugly, isn't he?
He is.
Yes.
I'm worried, the staff are worried, the manager's worried that a resident nearly fell over the dog.
Right.
And nearly slipped on the vomit in the dining room. Now,
Right.
if that happened, Michael, we would be accountable to.
You'd be sued and the insurance company would have to pay, wouldn't they? Yeah.
And I suppose, the difficulty here is we understand that this is a very heart-pulling story, that we are a care home and we have a duty and responsibility for the care and well-being of people that live there.
Okay, I understand that, obviously, but, looking at what appears to be being said is you've got an 87-year-old resident whose wife died 2 years ago, who's still grieving, who's got a dog that is very important to him. And what I'm a bit struggling with is how you can reconcile the word care with kicking somebody out of the house because they've got a dog. Surely there must be a better solution.
We have compromised with this gentleman. We have tried to compromise with this gentleman. There has been things that's been put in the media that the dog was supposed to be evicted on Valentine's Day.
Right. Evicted?
And we know this.
It was supposed to be evicted? I mean,
It's in the media.
Oh, okay.
The media saying that the dog was supposed to go on the 14th of February.
I don't believe the media. I mean, that's why I want to know more about what the real situation is,
Well, the situation is that, the dog continues to be unmanaged and it howls.
Does it?
Constantly cries. And we've had GPs refuse to come into the home
Really?
because of the barking. And we can't have that because we need the GPs in the building to look after the people that are unwell.
Right. Can I ask you a question? What do you feel it will do to this man who's lost his wife 2 years ago if his dog is taken from him? What do you feel it will do to him? Do you feel it will help him or it might kill him?
I can't make comments on that, mate.
But you're obviously a person working in the care industry, so that's why I'm asking the question really. Looking at it as a human being, what do you think it'll do to him?
I've got to take my heart away from this, and
I don't feel you have. I feel that to use the word care is very much about heart, and it would seem to me that there has to be a better solution. I mean, it appears that he's going to be evicted from the home, is that right?
Is this an interview?
It's not an interview, no. It's a man ringing you who's got a father who's set his heart on the place, who's now heard something very disturbing. You see what I mean? I think it's important, bearing in mind my father is 80 and has set his heart on coming to a place and is now very unsettled by the story. I think that there are good care homes, and I expect yours probably is a very good care home, But in the end, I think that one of the things I feel very strongly about, I am the son of the designer of the peace symbol, who's a pacifist, who was imprisoned in the war. My father was sent to America in 1939 to avoid the war, and one of the ships with 500 children was sunk. So you see, my emotions are not removed from these situations, they're very much part of it. And it should be when a person comes to a home from home. It would appear to me, and I could be wrong, which is why I'm asking you if you can correct me on this, that you have somebody who appears to have come into a home and has seen his wife die. There's been a dog allowed in when he came into the home. He's got a tenancy, it would appear to be, that has been given to him on the basis that his dog will be there, and now it's proposed to put him out of the home. I cannot see how that can possibly be remotely caring if it's true. Can you?
Well, he does have a tendency, yes.
I mean, I wouldn't dream of evicting a person at the age of 87, particularly if they're grieving for their wife, you know. I mean, I don't know the man, you know. My father showed me the pictures and I was a little horrified because he does look a really nice bloke, you know, really nice man, and you know, and I'm good at reading people, and it feels to me as though this is treating a human being in a deplorable way, and that's why I really wanted to speak to you about it, because I will have to put my father, you know, into a different state of mind if the conclusion is that if I can't get an answer to this, that makes me happy. And at the age of 80, you know, when you set your heart on a place, just like if you leave your home to go somewhere, you know, it becomes your home. And it's not easy to move from a home ever. Your friends are there, all these kind of things. And I can't believe, I mean, you know, if there is this much publicity apparently building up about it, I would have thought from a business point of view, if the business had to hire somebody, a young person, to live in their home, to take care of him at the minimum wage until he dies, that would be a decent thing to do, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that make sense? Surely, you know. Is that fair what I just said?
I think, again, I have to take the emotion out of this.
You can't take the emotion out of it, because in the end, this might kill somebody, and I think that one of the things I feel is we take the emotion out of far too much today. We live in a sort of disassociated state with no compassion whatsoever, because in the end, how can you be compassionate if you take the emotion out of a situation? Do you see my point?
The point that I'm raising, Michael, about taking the emotion out of it, is that it's all too easy to be buried by emotion, and I...
No, you see, with all due respect, there's a very fine line between taking the emotion out and becoming psychopathic and not caring about what the consequences of something are. Listen, hang on, I've rung you. My father is quite upset about this at the age of 80, okay? He lost his wife about 3 years ago. That's why he wants to come in somewhere. He set his heart on coming into your home. Now he is very unsettled. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. So why is it that a home, you know, that very likely has a substantial amount of money in the bank?
Can I just ask a question?
Sorry? Yep.
Could I ask a question?
Yep.
This telephone call went from talking about...
Now the telephone call, the start of the telephone call was asking questions of you about the home, okay? And you answered them, and you were very straightforward with me. I then moved on to this story because that's what you've told me, and at the moment I am not completely happy that whatever policy is being followed is moving into the interests of the people who are living there. Not at all. And if a company is unable to see that if hundreds of thousands of people are signing a petition, which is giving them a lot of publicity, that either could shut down their homes or they could open their hearts, get their wallets out and do something that is humane to allow the man to stay where he is. You see what I'm saying? It isn't about budgets, it isn't about accounts, it's about people. My father is not going to go into a home unless I am absolutely satisfied that for the rest of his life he will receive compassion and care, and there won't be a company policy coming along in 2 or 3 years that says, I'm sorry, if you wear blue shirts you can't be here, or brown shirts. Because, again, my grandfather is the designer of the peace symbol. He is the designer of the peace symbol. He went to prison in the war. The war was about fighting against dictatorships and people who worried about shirts that you wore. You see my point?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Yeah, okay. So, What I would like to happen is that you have a word or put an email to the managing director of your company, because it will be up to him to find a way to satisfy me if my father is going to come into your home. Does that make sense? And I'm not happy at the moment. I'm not happy to tell my father the contents of this conversation.
I have told you.
We are not clinical people, we are human beings.
Let me finish. I have told you the reasons why that this situation has happened, as a statement went out from the managing director.
Okay, I'd like the managing director to telephone me. I'd like him to telephone. He won't telephone me?
He won't telephone people about this situation because...
He won't telephone people who are thinking of bringing their father to home? What sort of business is he running? This is going to create the most appalling, it must be creating the most appalling publicity. He can take his head out of the sand and perhaps recognise that a little bit of compassion and humanity needs to come back into the way the home is run. He may have to dip into the funds of the company to hire somebody to find a solution to it that allows the man to stay in his home. He will need to reassure people like me who want to come into the home. He will need to reassure people like me that company policies will not result in their parents being evicted from your home.
We have tried to come up with a compromise that the members of the public will not be aware of. And again, this isn't about being uncompassionate, it's not about being uncaring.
Okay, can I ask you, what compromise are you trying to come up with?
That's between the company and the tenant, Michael. I'm not here to disclose any confidential information that's not been shared with other people. But I will tell you that the company has tried on many occasions to compromise with the tenant.
Do those compromises involve him keeping his dog, which he moved into the home with, or not?
But you know, people will only see what they see in the public.
No, I see a man with a beautiful dog that is keeping him alive, where a company appears to have changed the policy because it is taking the emotion out of the situation, which is likely to kill the man. And I think that is beyond wicked. It is beyond wicked. And I'm not happy at the moment that the questions and concerns that I will have to tell my father have yet been answered.
Okay. I think that was the purpose of you ringing, because obviously you've got extremely angry.
Well, you see, I know you might think I'm being emotional. But again, if I remind you again, my father was on one of two boats where 500 children were sunk by the Germans, and my grandfather was a pacifist imprisoned in the war and went on to design one of the most powerful symbols of freedom that has ever been created. So you see, within me, there are some very strong emotions. I have personally fended off 7 attempts to evict me from my beautiful home because I run a business and I've taken a lot of risks, by people who equally detach from their emotions. So you see, I have reason to become a little bit angry. And I think people are becoming very angry about people who detach from their emotions and treat people as numbers, as they did in Nazi Germany and Stalin's Russia. But this is a different country. I believe this country will turn on people who behave like this.
I'm sorry.
Okay, let's end the call. You say that your managing director can't call me. I will find a way of writing to him.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for your time, and I hope that you've